Hey, what's up, man? It's Jim and Matt. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, buddy.
What's up, Cowboy?
We were talking before you came about your you sent out on Instagram a comment on the Cyborg remarks made by the media personnel. Do you know her personally, or did you just feel bad about it when you read it?
Yeah, I know her, but regardless of who it was, shit like that. Like if somebody wants to say that, you do that in your own time. You're not the fucking media person of one of the largest MMA schools in the country, and then you fucking just start talking like a total fucking jackass. You know what I mean? So that's what I had to say about that.
No, it was great that it was great, and it was nice to see. It was one of those things where you felt that it kind of felt like Holly fought such a great fight, even though she lost. She going the distance with Cyborg was incredibly impressive, and then it's overshadowed by this other stuff.
Yeah, it's just asinine, man. So, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, Jackson Wink we were talking to, and it's such a great school, and it's such a legendary school, and there's been so many champions that has had like a streak of where guys have lost fights, and I know that that's very atypical. That's not common for you guys. Is there a feeling around the school, like, hey, something's wrong, or how are you guys looking at that?
Yeah, man, it's just wild. I mean, shit, it's not a thing that's a norm, right? Ever since I've been there, we've been a pretty successful squad, but lately we've had a bit of trouble. I mean, look at me, I'm fucking 3 losses. That's the worst I've had ever. This is bullshit, Lodo. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, how are you feeling at the weight? I mean, how are you feeling now? Well, I know you had commented about possibly going back down to lightweight. You felt it made you a bit more focused?
Yeah, I just felt, because like I'm like 174, 175 right now. That's like my walk around weight, So for the 70 is easy. I don't have to train nearly as hard. So, but no, I'm not making any excuses, man. I want to go back to 55. My next fight's at 70, of course, but I mentioned to the UFC that I want to go back to 155. And so we'll talk about it. See what's going on after this fight. So I was like, all right, but who knows? I don't know. I'm not here making excuses and saying it's the weight or it's this or it's that. I just had a bad run luck, I guess. Get my ass whipped. I'll figure something out.
I don't think anybody thinks you make excuses. Honestly, I think that's the last thing people would accuse you of, because you take fights that sometimes people are like, why is he taking that fight? He doesn't have to. So, I mean, you're known as a guy who likes to fight every 2 days. So I don't think anybody thinks you're making excuses.
Yeah, okay, good. Perfect.
What's new with the extreme sports, Cowboy? Anything new you're trying, or is there anything left that you have not tried?
Well, it's funny you say that because we just got into extreme downhill mountain biking. I'll tell you what, if someone 2 years ago asked me if I'd ever get on a mountain bike, I'm like, for what? Pedal my ass off until you do it. And holy shit. So that's my new thing I've been doing is extreme downhill mountain biking. It's pretty impressive.
What do you love about it?
Just a fucking adrenaline dump that it is. I mean, you're literally a white knuckle hold on ride. It's fun. Plus, you got to work out. You got to pedal your ass up the hill. So it's a / workout and a good time. Double feature.
Yeah, but you wipe out on. I mean, it sounds like common sense, but if you wipe out going downhill, it sounds very dangerous in a sense. If you wipe out, you're gonna be fucked up pretty bad. No.
Yeah, I'm pretty fucked up right now. I wiped out, broke my frame, and got a couple of bruises on my back. But I'm gonna bounce back.
Oh, well, you got a little bit before your fight, though, so that's good.
Yeah.
How annoyed was Dana when you got a mountain bike?
Oh, I'm sure he just looks at my Instagram. He's like, "Oh, fucking kid."
Why don't you try something a little easier, like hot air ballooning? You get nice scenery, you're fucking up high,
or chess. Play chess.
The only reason I'm going up in the hot air balloon is a fucking base jump out of it. So.
Yo, what? No, wait. Did you ever try those squirrel suits yet? What is that? What it's called?
So you need 200. You need 200 registered jumps before you can get into a squirrel suit. I've already looked into it. And I'm at about 38 jumps, so I got some time to go.
No, wait, Cowboy, don't listen. I'm not. I have, we're friendly enough, but don't do that, Cowboy. Don't do it. No, don't do it, man. That's got disaster. That's got disaster. Is there any statistics on these people jumping like that? Because I see the GoPros, and sometimes I'm thinking, how do they?
They're flying. It's amazing.
I'm like, how do they know that they're going to be going over these trees and eventually just come into a land somewhere that's, you know what I mean? Like, how do they? Who charters this thing? Like, who maps this thing out for these people?
The crazy lunatic that did it right before him, and they were like, "Yep, that worked. You guys are good."
Man, you got to put a GoPro with that. And
For
then
sure.
Hey, would you go to Dubai? I heard Dubai is doing this thing where you go, like, they have these 100-story buildings where you're going to be able to zip line off the building, like all the way down to the ground from a 100-story building. Would you do that?
Fuck yeah, in a second.
now listen, it's all fun and games. You heard about the Chinese stunt guy that
Foul, yeah.
that recorded his own death.
He was an extreme climber. Do you
That's a little
you ever do
different.
extreme climbing where these guys do that, like that, where they're on a building or
So I
something?
do a lot of climbing, but I've never done anything where they do it without the rope. I won't do that. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. So I definitely want to. I definitely want to rope attract.
And you like to jump out of planes. Like, you enjoy doing that.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the height you start at when you first jump?
Ours was 10,000 feet. I think is what we first started jumping at.
And was it what did it feel like when you leave the plane? Is it what you thought it was going to be, or did it feel different?
Yeah, have you ever been on that roller coaster ride when you're at the amusement park where there's like the battleship and it goes back and forth, like oof, oof, and you kind of lose your stomach? That's the feeling. Is like you like lose your stomach, and then once you're out in the air and you're skydiving, it's just reminds me of Point Break. You remember watching Point Break when you were a kid, and you're like, God, hell yeah, how cool! Except for you can't talk like they do. You know, like Utah, you badass. Like, no, you can't communicate back and forth.
I love that movie. Jimmy likes the remake better, he told me.
I certainly do. I mean, Pat Swayze just makes me too sad these days. So you lose your stomach. Does that mean you feel like you're going to puke?
No, you just like it. You feel like your balls are up in your throat.
Oh,
for a
yeah.
few minutes. Yeah. Whoa. You just, come out the plane, then you're flying.
Is there an instinct
Folding.
when you're falling like that? Is there an instinct to, like, how, like, when people fall, they like paddle and flail crazy? Do you have to tell yourself?
I'm sorry, that's not a bad question.
Yeah, they do. You ever watch people fall? Is there an instinct to do that? You have to tell yourself, no, just put your arms out and float or fly.
No, you have to fly in like a synchronized kind of system because one move of your left foot will make you spin to the right. You know what I mean? So you have to like control like when you go to pull your chute, you have to counterbalance, put your hand in front of you. So they teach you to like look at your altimeter while you're pulling your chute just to keep even. Because if you don't, you'll get in a wicked spin or start rolling. So you gotta fly, man. It's crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that. I had no idea that it was a balance thing. And what do they tell you to do? Because the guy who jumped in the for the Red Bull jump, Philippe something, he did the high jump out of 120,000 feet. At one point,
spaceship.
Did you see when he went into that spin? He spun for a while because he was in no air, or very thin air. So what do you do to get yourself out of a spin?
You got to just like hang a leg out or hang an arm out and try and right the wrong, But typically, if you're in a spin and you're like, I don't know, if you pull your chute, it's going to right you. I mean,
it will.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't do it.
I'm not into that shit either. Leave that for Cowboy.
It scares me.
Now listen, Cowboy, you said eventually you want to go back down to lightweight. What is it about this fight that excited you at welterweight?
For one, the UFC just called and offered it, so I was like, yep, okay.
There you go. That's it. Did it matter? Does it matter who it is? Does it really matter at all who they offer?
No, it doesn't.
That's great.
Well, I was going back to 155, and I thought the fight was supposed to be with Matt Brown. Matt Brown called and I begged UFC for the fight and told him that, he wanted to do it. So originally the fight was me and Matt Brown in Austin main event. So I was like, all right, I want to go down to 55, but fuck it, whatever, no problem. So then they said, well, now Matt, I guess the date doesn't work for him. I don't know what the excuse was. So I said, okay, so now here I am, main event Austin by myself. And then Yancey's like, I'll do it. And then, so I said, okay, here we go.
What's interesting is that you guys already fought and you knocked out Matt Brown.
Right.
So that's an interesting fight to make again, unless it's just that you both be going to lightweight, because Matt Brown, I don't believe ever fought lightweight.
He just he's talking about retirement, and I guess maybe that's just a fight that he wants redemption. He doesn't want to go out like that. I have no idea. He was just asking for the fight, and I was obliged to give it to him.
It's so funny, and not funny, but like guys, like he was leaving the UFC, and who did he just beat? Matt Brown.
Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, of course, he beat Diego.
Diego Sanchez.
And that would have been a great note for him to go off into the sunset. But that's part of being a fighter, man. Guys get that feeling. They get that one more, and that was a vicious elbow he did. So he has that feeling of probably feels so powerful after that, and it's probably hard to walk away now. That's wild, Cowboy. Got to throw him in his squirrel shoes. Guys, some
Squirrel
guys.
suit, not squirrel shoes. What are squirrel shoes?
Yeah, you know what that is exactly, Jimmy. But no, guys, what happens is when they get done with the fighting, they need some kind of an adrenaline or some kind of extreme hobby or something. Because I'm dealing with that with some guys now that used to fight and they're close to me and they can't fight anymore. And it's like we gotta find a different hobby for some of these guys. You know?
Yeah, have to. You have to. You got to chase the feeling.
Exactly, man. It's so hard for these guys, man, because you know the deal. It's such a hard feeling to simulate with something else. You know?
Oh my God, yes, for sure.
Got to get him to stand-up comedy, Jimmy.
What do you look for? I mean, you're only 34. You obviously have years of fighting left, but you've had 42 fights. What do you look for? What do you think of when you retire? Have you kind of thought like, yeah, maybe in a few years I might want to do this?